The gaming world is in turmoil. There's all sorts of going on in all sorts of studios currently. And we are going to talk about one of the biggest ones, which is Ubisoft. And they are doing some really asinine So let's just have a quick look.
It keeps on giving, especially as of late. But from a gamer's perspective, it is the worst thing that could possibly be happening to the industry. Between Star Wars Outlaws and the catastrophe of a launch that was, looking all the way over to Assassin's Creed Shadows and seeing how that got booted to February 2025, Black History Month having Yasuke as a main protagonist, and the entire internet in an uproar, you'd think Ubisoft couldn't fall on their face any harder than they have been. Until you find out that other games they've had come out have had some other similar kind of issues, and I can't believe this one flew under the radar. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And Avatar, the game that Ubisoft came out with about a year and a half ago, has been received fairly lukewarm by critics. People said it was a fine game, it was okay. But now we're getting information.
I didn't even know this game launched. Like, I had no fucking clue this game was out already, to be honest.
People tipping me off on Twitter that this Avatar game has had updates with DLC now added to the game, which you would hear on the surface saying, great, we got DLC for a game that I liked. Okay, maybe I'll buy it, maybe I won't. But right now, I just want to play the game. You load it up. You load your save file, and you get an error saying you can't play your save file because you haven't paid for the DLC for the game you already own. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how Avatar, a game from Ubisoft, now requires you to pay for the DLC if you want to continue playing the vanilla version of the game that you purchased with your own money originally. I know, it's hard to believe, but Ubisoft has yet again found another way to go out and outdo themselves, proving once more why they have earned the extreme hatred of gamers around the world. Players of Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora are now discovering an issue. They're being locked out of their base game save files
what the shit?
Unless they shell out additional money for the Skybreaker DLC. So Ubisoft has effectively been holding progress back and keeping it hostage unless you pay them extra money to get the DLC. Screw the mob, this is the modern age of extortion. If we thought Ubisoft couldn't sink any lower, think again. Because this is the most anti-consumer move I could ever think of. Shout out to Andy Bellin on Twitter who tipped me off.
The crazy thing is I watched Asmongold try and play the game. He downloaded the game. Obviously, he didn't load in because it required you to download another launcher for the game, and he immediately quit. But this is 100% true. People cannot log into the game without buying the DLC, which is basically extortion. You're extorting your player base. It is insane.
About the reports that began flooding in on Reddit shortly after the Skybreaker DLC launched. He said, I've been watching some of your vids lately and wanted to send you a huge tip about Ubisoft committing outright fraud against customers. They made it impossible to play the base Avatar game without buying the DLC. Paywall base behind DLC. Link below, and they attached the Reddit forum where there are a number of people extremely pissed off at Ubisoft. I know, big shocker, people upset at Ubisoft. But the sheer amount of people over the past 4 months piling up saying, what the hell is going on? I can't play my Avatar game unless I pay for DLC. You can't do this to people. Those who have invested hours into the base game suddenly found their progress inaccessible, and they were greeted with an error message demanding the DLC be purchased and installed to
What
continue.
the fuck? This is crazy.
I gotta take a step back and say, wait.
The cacophony of everyone saying what at the exact same time on planet Earth when they try to play this game is probably very loud.
Blame this on a bug or it's just an error that Ubisoft made. We'll fix it, guys. Don't.
A bug is a convenient cover-up to upsell your DLC. Let me make that very, very clear. Was it already there? Apparently people have been trying to do this they've been trying to fix it for 4 months. It's consumer rights violations. It's absolutely insane. It raises serious concerns on ownership of games and a company being able to lock out your digital goods even if you've purchased the base game. It's absolutely unreal. And if it is a bug, why wasn't this quality tested within the company? It just erodes trust. Already has strained trust within their player base. And we're not even talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is already marred with controversy.
Worry about it. Coming from me, a former game tester, this is something you ensure before you put out there publicly.
Exactly.
That it will not wreck the base game. You make sure not just the DLC functions properly, but it goes in line with the game itself without further issues being added on top of what's already existing. And it all sounds awfully familiar. If you guys remember that Star Wars Outlaws bug that required all the early access users to start all over again fresh, with their progress getting wiped and needing a new save file after an update corrupted the future progress of the old save files. Come on, Ubisoft. Can we just go one day without hearing how you boned gamers in a different way? We're collectively begging you. I think here's the thing. Gamers, sure, it's fun to laugh at Ubisoft and poke fun at them and talk about how awful the company is. But at the end of the day, I'd like to think gamers would like Ubisoft to just be better. That's why we're complaining about...
They're not going to be better. They don't give a shit about you or me. This isn't the first monetization controversy that Ubisoft has faced. They have implemented aggressive microtransactions within their live service games. Okay? And it's not the first time. And it reflects a broader strategy to prioritize profit over any kind of customer concern. And that is a major, major problem. Like, gaming currently is bigger than Hollywood combined. All of Hollywood combined. It is bigger than... It is a huge, massive industry. And companies are doing everything they can to squeeze every amount of money, every bit of money they can out of gamers, and delivering shit products.
About them to not screw over the customers, which seems to be what they always end up doing, more than EA or any other game company out there these days. Now, people in the forums have shared information that Ubisoft has acknowledged the problem and they're blaming it on a bug. Their vague statement has assured players that the issue is quote-unquote being investigated, but they offered no timeline for a fix. And in the meantime, frustrated customers who have purchased the game are continually left in limbo for, like I said, the better part of 4 months. The affected players have described Ubisoft's support system as worthless, with many of the tickets that they've sent in being closed, ignored, without any resolution. Think about that for a second. So you're talking to customer service. Hey, I have an issue. I bought your game. It's not working properly. XYZ. Here's the other thing. Here's what's going on. And Ubisoft says, oh yeah, we're aware of this bug. We're checking on it. And you're like, cool, okay. And then you just get a notification that your case has been closed. Your ticket has been closed out. It's like you didn't fix it. You can't do that. That's terrible customer service.
Okay. Here's the real fucking issue. A mentality around governments and politics where a political party will push the boundaries of what their people will tolerate, right? And then it'll get to a point where people will backlash and they'll cause problems and they'll shout and scream. And then the government will stop doing that, right? And then they'll push a little more with something else and push a little more until the customers have backlash or people have backlash, and then they'll stop and they'll do it again. And eventually, when you're 10 miles down the road and you've been pushed so far that you don't even know, you're wondering how you got to this point, and you look back and you realize, oh shit, we went through 50 checkpoints before we got to the end. It's asinine. And I mean, what does this mean for the future of gaming? It's testing the boundaries of what customers will tolerate. And if that's the case, then is this gonna embolden other companies to do the same kind of bullshit tactics? And at this point, apologies aren't enough. Ubisoft needs to face consequences. Okay, if they don't face consequences, there's going to be serious repercussions for the whole gaming industry, because this is a massive fucking company. Okay, and the lack of transparency is mind-blowing. They should be looking and helping their customers. I just can't understand it. Are you really just going to prioritize profit over making good games? The pitfalls we are about to go into in the next like 4 or 5 years in the gaming industry is going to be crazy, especially over the ecosystem of ownership and like, live service gaming models and all of that shit. It's fucking crazy. I don't know if top end developers are involved in it, but it seems to me like it's mostly the executives making these really risky decisions at the top to push profits for shareholders that hurt not only the company, not only the gamers, but the gaming industry overall. It's nuts.